Taylor, and a fine field of cars and a jam-packed main grandstand here tonight at Louisville Speedway. Greet the NASCAR-sanctioned Winston Martin Landscaping Sportsman Division for their 30-lap main event. The green flag is out. Chuck Barnes is the race leader down the back straightaway. Kevin Willis dropping back to second. Jerry Lee rolls up to the outside of him. They're side by side for the number 2 spot as they complete lap number 1.
Well, Barnes has slingshotted away from the field. He has put about 2 or 3 car lengths in between him and the rest of the pack. Jerry Lee now finding some open racing room. Chuck Winters with the movement to the top as he'll take over third place position. And now he's going to look to the outside of Jerry Lee for second.
Looks like Darrell Handley and Bill Kimmel Jr. hooked bumpers. Each lost about 5 positions in the lineup. Kimmel has dropped about halfway back in the field. He brought Handley back there with him. Nick Reed Jr. goes on a spin down in turns 1 and 2. And a possible caution flag situation exists. Yellow flag comes out with 27 laps remaining in the Winston Martin Landscaping Sportsman feature. Side by side, it's Barnes on the inside, Winters on the outside. It looks like Mack has pulled free from the field. It looks like we've got one car sitting sideways down in turn 4. It must have spun just before the green flag. That's Bobby Allen, a driver running for Rookie of the Year honors in this division, a first-year driver. Bobby Allen driving a 1986 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. He looped the car down in turns 3 and 4, and they immediately brought the red flag out. His car really sitting. Want to keep our eyes on some of the rookies in this division. Debbie Bartley in car number 17, driving the car that Sam Price took to 4 feature wins 1 year ago. Out of turn number 4, they're back under green, and it's Chuck and Chuck up front, down into turns 1 and 2.
Indeed, the battle of the Chucks continues out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Winters pours it on as he puts his car out in front of Chuck Barnes. Stith is now up in third. Jerry Lee running in fourth, and Steve Mack rounds out their top 5 as they come across 26 laps remaining.
From the outside lane, Chuck Winters gets an incredible launch coming off the turns, and he's out motoring Barnes down the straightaways. This time he drifts up a little high down in turns 3 and 4. Now completes the pass with 25 laps remaining as they head back into turns 1 and 2. Winters down the back straightaway, takes command, and Chuck Barnes drops back to second. Jeff Stith runs third, Steve Mack to fourth, and Jerry Lee rounds out the top 5. They're in single file.
Frank, you aren't kidding. I'll tell you what, out of the turns, it's just Winters is just getting all the connection that he needs as he's sticking to the track and advancing quite considerably. He's now running by the car lead leader for number 5. Chuck Barnes continues to ride that high line. Turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. He seems flanking there on the outside as the rest of the casting group sticking close to that inside group down the back stretch now.
You'd think after Winters took the lead away, he'd take that car down to the inside and try to protect that inside lane. But the car, the way that he and Royce Foley and the rest of the crew have it set up, it behaves very well on that outside lane, and that's where Chuck Winters is taking that car. We'll call it 3 car lanes, and it looks like Debbie Bartley has spun down in turns 1 and 2. I saw her racing very closely with Brian Baum just a few laps ago, but Bartley's car comes to a rest down in turns 3 and 4. She goes 1 lap down to the race leaders, and we will not have a caution flag.
Indeed, she takes it down to the infield and stays out of harm's way as we're pulling off now 10 laps in this event, 20 remaining right now for your racing with the number 8 Chuck Winters. Barnes starting to close the door just a little bit. What was a 1 car length lead now goes down to about 3/4 of the car length lead as they hit into turns 3 and 4. Winters still on that high group. Barnes in second. Jim Stitt now in a battle for third as Steve Mack is moving up quickly on him.
And it looks like Darrell Handley has hooked bumpers for a second time in this race, this time with Reed Boone on the front straightaway. Those cars bang together down in turns 1 and 2 and begin dropping back in the field some. So some combat racing going on between some of the cars in the mid portion of the pack. You know, I was just getting ready to say it looks like Chuck Winters may have a slight push in that car, and perhaps that's what they want in the early portions, but then they may have set it up so that it will loosen up towards the last part of the race when the car really has to run fast. But again, that's conducive of the track conditions if they come about. Anyway, it's Winters who likes to ride the outside lane, and he's the race leader by 2 car lengths as they cross the start-finish line, approaching the halfway point.
Indeed, this next time across will be halfway for our racing competitors. It is Winters out in front, Barnes running in second, Jim Stitt pulling down third, Steve Mack in at 4th, Jerry Lee running in 5th on the field. Kevin Willis is back in at 6th place position. Brian Baum holding down 7th, Tim Parker's in the 8th, Bill Kimmel Jr. at 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is Marshall Jaggers in the number 91 machine.
Nick Reed Jr. Taylor has gone one lap down to the race leaders, and it looks like his car is slowing and headed back to the pit area. It's Winters followed by Barnes, who is right on his back bumper, and now Winters takes that car down to the inside, heading down into turns 1 and 2. He moves in on Bobby Allen in car number 90, who's set to go at least one lap down. Bumper to bumper out of turn 4. Winters looks down to the inside of Allen as they head off into turns 1 and 2.
We'll have to keep an eye on Allen. As we've seen, he's had trouble holding on to the handle a couple of times here this season, but Winters will pass underneath the wheel without incident at this point. As Allen sweeps up high, lets him on by. Winters takes that high line once again. Barnes sweeps right in behind him now as your top 4 cars pass on through the inside of Bobby Allen, putting him a lap down. Also, Bobby is now getting set to go down a lap as well.
We got a dandy of a battle for third place as well, Dean Taylor. Jeff Stith in car number 94 and Steve Mack in car number 47. They ran second and third in the point standings. Right now they're running third and fourth in this race event. Up near the front of the class here as they barrel off into turns 3 and 4. The top 4 cars are bumper to bumper out of turn number 4. Winters continues to lead. There's 10 to go.
That's right, 10 to go as 20 laps have been watching Kevin Willis's machine and see what he's slowing down his car. Keep an eye on that and see if that progresses as the race moves on. Right now it is Chuck Winters moving on out of turn 4. Back across the start-finish line. We're now down to the single digits. Only 9 laps remaining. As Barnes got what it takes to pass up Winters. Doesn't look like it down the backstretch, but there's still plenty of time.
Yeah, it looked like Barnes got a little loose that time coming out of turn number 2. The car dropped back a bit. He's beginning to make up that ground, and Barnes may be thinking it's time to cool the tires a bit and then make a last go at it over the final few laps. Let's paint the picture for you. It's Winters, Barnes, Stith, and then Mack, bumper to bumper, first through fourth. And then there are the lapped cars of Debbie Bartley, Mike Popplewell, and then the 5th place running Jerry Lee. Lee about 20 car lengths behind the top 4 cars. Now as they shuffle back into turns 3 and 4, it's Winters by a car length and a half. Here's Jeff Stith. He and Chuck Barnes made some bumper contact down in turns 3 and 4. Barnes slipped just a bit. Stith dove underneath him. They're side by side out of turn 2.
Kevin Willis's machine pulls off of the back of the long track right now. And it's Jeff Stith. He uses the 05 machine as kind of a pick. Drops to the inside. He'll now take over second place position as Barnes will move back to third.
Well, this has left the door wide open for Winters now, as he easily has about 6 car lengths separating himself and Jeff Stith. Once again, Stith and Barnes made a little contact down in turns 3 and 4. Barnes' car broke loose. Stith took the position away at second. Now he's got about 4 car lengths to make up on Chuck Barnes and only 4 laps to do it in. They're back into turns 3 and 4. It looks like Steve Mack now may be trying to shuffle his way past Chuck Barnes.
That's right. As he's going to look to the outside of Barnes, he sweeps up the banking just a little bit that time out of turn 4. Steve Mack can regain the handle down the front straightaway around through turns 1 and 2. And it's Chuck Winters out in front. Jeff Stiff starting to reel it in a little bit as it's now down to about a 2 car length separation with just 2 laps remaining in our third lap event for the Winston Martin Landscaping Sportsman.
2 to go. Chuck Winters reels up behind Alan Huddleston. Huddleston gets a little loose off turn 2. Winters looks to the outside of him. He can't waste much time with him. Jeff Stiff is now barreling down on Chuck Winters as they move out of turn number 4. White flags out. They're off into turns 1 and 2. Winters dives down to the inside of Huddleston. It's Stith right on his back bumper. They'll move past the inside. Half lap to go.
Into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Winters out in front, takes the low line this time through turn 4. Sweeps up just a little bit as they come to the finish line. Chuck Winters walks away with the victory.
3/4 of a car length and his 49th career victory here at Louisville Motor Speedway. The number 8 will go to victory lane. The number 5 machine of Chuck Barnes was across the line at 3rd place. Looks like no candy treats tonight for the kids, but there's always tomorrow night and next week, as well as the rest of the racing season.